From the master hands of the tool makers to the hands that master the great machines come the tools and patterns and dies. And then the factories start.
Day breaks in the east, and a mighty army rises. Not an army marching to the deep and desolating roar of shells, but a mighty army of builders who go forth accompanied by the whistles from America's greatest factories, while their giant smokestacks right across the skies promise of a new prosperity. in a land where that prosperity brings a fuller life to every man who labors and who serves. And as each builder marches forth to shape his destiny, tens of thousands more go with him side by side, and so each one is multiplied. And thus America has grown from the combined services of those who plan, create, and build, each day serving better, earning more, and building greater values than can be found in any other nation of the world. The clarion call of industry sounds good morning to America's manpower. As dawn comes out of the east and spreads down the quiet streets, the clans gather in a score of cities. In thousands of homes, vigorous workmen rise to meet a new day and a new opportunity. The morning sun stirs the nation's workmen, prompting them to their posts of daily service. Follow the eastern sun as it rises on the homes of men along the great Atlantic seaboard. The morning light over the plains has waked the thousands who are off to enliven the factories of the vast Midwestern states. And along the sunny shores of the Pacific, men are on their way to quicken the beat of industry. In 12 great cities, located in every region of the country, the clans are gathering for the work of a new day. As the sun stretches fingers of light across the pavements, the early morning sparkles with the greeting of men to men. On their way to factories in Flint and Atlanta, from Tarrytown to Oakland, the neighborly workmen hail each other with the salute of fellowship. Along the roads to the factories, tens of thousands begin to mass. They swell the rising tide. Into the silent buildings flows the life stream. The great producing units of the nation's mightiest manufacturing enterprise awake. The giant assembly plants begin to stir.
Hear the tramp of feet, hear the tramp, they swing along and sing a song of happiness complete. The rising sun tells of a new day coming. Men of skill and might to work are going. Whistles blowing, the wheels of industry are calling. Here they come, with the sun, everyone. Hallelujah, night is come.
In every quarter of the country, in a dozen great cities, the bugle call of industry has summoned the clan. Legions of craftsmen have joined to supply transportation for a nation of individuals. Along the main current of the assembly lines, light falls across men spreading to their stations. The stillness of the factories breaks. The tramp of many feet makes way for the rhythmic hum of smooth spinning machinery. Under the guidance of skilled workmen, comfort and speed and safety are built into motor cars for all America. All that fine automobiles are made of, all that the builders need, is ready for assembly. America is at work. The great automobile factories and the grounds encircling them are never empty. Like mighty reservoirs, they feed the streams of cars along the highways. 1 million families call for motor cars. The work of men who make them is always in demand. America has a ready purse and gives eager acceptance to what the men of motors have built, and built well. Fine materials, soundly assembled. And while a restless and never satisfied horizon calls, the new automobiles stream from the factories, spreading pleasure and speeding business all across the country. The destination? Everywhere, USA. And now a stream of paychecks flows to all the men who are building 1 million cars for the boulevards and highways of America. Tens of thousands of men on one single payroll have money for themselves and for their families to spend. Money to spend for wholesome foods, for good clothes, money for comforts and conveniences. Fresh buying power floods into all the stores of every community. New trade and new commerce have been created by the overflow of purses. And beyond the marketplaces, new wealth flourishes and new prosperity grows. Prosperity greater than history has ever known.
Mississippi, roll on. Come on, you lazy steamer, move on. Clear that river, here we come. Watch her smoke, boy, hear that engine humming, Lottie, take a look at that shore. Soon I'll be with the folks I adore. Oh, Lottie, there's a spot round that bend. That's my home, my journey's end. Come on, you old man river, come on. Roll on, you Mississippi, roll on. Open up the Golden Gate.
The pleasure of buying, the spreading of money, and the enjoyment of all the things that paychecks can buy are making happy all the thousands of families. And when the sun drops low at close of day, and the evening shadows lengthen all across the continent, the men return from work with the wind fresh in their faces. Each feels that his home is the best of places, and each in his heart is right. Then comes time for play, and friends, and recreation. And so across America, the thousands have worked today and done their tasks well. And as the lights blink out, a day of work, a day of fulfillment, of happiness and of peace merges into the assurance of a fuller life in the great American way.
One more perfect day is through. Lights off. Shadows creep across the blue. The night has come upon you. So sweep your cares away. Lights off. Lights off. Sleep till morning breeze. The dawning sun. Let work be done. Sleep till dawning breeze. The
It looks like an ordinary day in the USA, but in the city of Flint, Michigan, all is excitement. Even the small fry are buzzing. And the older boys and girls are let out of school. Oh, this is a day. The whole town's a bustle. Yes, sirree, there's going to be a parade, too. And what's a parade without festive bunting and gala decorations? And bands. So the boys with the tall shakos practice their strut. And all over town, the final touches are put on sleek and shiny floats. For this parade is going to be a mile long. And some of the out-of-town floats have to be hustled over the road to make it on time. And in the town auditorium, a troupe of Broadway and Hollywood artists feverishly polish their song and dance routines, symbolizing the teamwork and progress of GM people everywhere. For their show is to be played to a standout audience of very important guests, hundreds of guests, many of whom will arrive in Flint on a train pulled by a glistening diesel, a golden engine for a golden day. Yes, sir, there's excitement from coast to coast on this day. Everywhere General Motors people are at work. For today in the USA, the entire GM family is playing host, with open house at every plant. For this is a special day, a once-in-a-lifetime day, a day of achievement for the whole USA. For on this day, General Motors is building its 50 millionth car. No one has ever come close to that before. So no wonder celebration is in the very air. The bunting and decorations are up. The floats are almost ready. The red carpets are out. The signs of welcome are proudly displayed. Mothers are bringing the children to town. For on this day of days, parking is no problem. For Buick has provided a stomping ground for the cowboy and diaper set. And Buick's general manager, Ivan Wiles, drops in. And now on the Chevrolet production line, an historic event is about to occur. With some of its millions of predecessors marching before, and the first of more millions following behind, a golden chassis arrives at the body drop. Mark you well this day in American progress, for the scurrying clock of history is striking 10 this Tuesday morning of November 23rd, 1954. As down from aloft swings the golden body of a car that's been 46 years in the making. A car that marks a proud feat of the teamwork of American productive achievement, unmatched anywhere at any time. The manufacture by the people of one company of 50 million motor cars. This is achievement. Achievement by a great nation, by the 160 million free people of that nation. For to the cooperative efforts of the men and women of General Motors working together must be added the work of the countless thousands who supply GM, and the countless tens of thousands who supply them, and the thousands of dealers and salesmen and servicemen who sell and care for GM products, and the investors who entrust savings and earnings to GM, and the millions upon millions of customers whose confidence also has helped make possible this day and this event. So with pride shared by every GM man and woman everywhere, Chevrolet's general manager, T.H. Keating, marks the occasion with General Motors President Harlow H. Curtis.
Mr. Curtis, it is a real honor and a privilege for Chevrolet to produce the 50 millionth car for General Motors. It is a history-making achievement, and all who had any part can well feel very proud. It is a pleasure for me, Mr. Curtis, to present to you the key to the 50 millionth car.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keating. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Men of Chevrolet and Fisher, my sincere congratulations. You have just helped accomplish something that has never been accomplished before. You have produced the 50 millionth car built by General Motors in the United States since 1908. This is a milestone unique in the world's industrial history. It was the vision of a bare handful of men here in Flint that launched General Motors in 1908. The automobile industry was a struggling infant at that time. In other automobile companies, the same vision existed. Vision of the automobile both as an essential means of transportation and as a creator of jobs. The result has been the development of an industry that makes the greatest single contribution of any to the strength of the national economy. Over the years, it has constituted a principal source of our country's dynamic growth. The 50 millionth General Motors car produced in this country stands as a symbol of vision of accomplishment to date. It also is a symbol of progress for the future.
50 million cars. So hoist those flags on high, blow those whistles, and start that parade. This is a day. The entire GM line is represented here. Glistening new models of the famous five that make automotive history every day. GMC truck and coach with surging power for the wheels of progress. Electromotive, with the revolutionary power for the wheels of steel that put new life in the old iron horse. Fisher Body, that's led a parade of beauty from the days of demure Miss 1908 to modern as tomorrow Miss 1955. UAW-CIO, representing more than 300,000 members of the mighty GM team. AC Spark Plug, as if you couldn't tell, and Sparky, and Sludgy, who all work together, too, to make this nation strong. And here's General Motors Institute, that helps train men and women to carry on the tradition of achievement. And Turnstile, that puts GM's hardware out in front. And of course, little did they dream it, here's the very first GM car, the 1908 Cadillac that started the biggest parade of industrial products in all history. And GM's Million, a 1919 Oldsmobile. And the 5 Million, a Pontiac from way back in 1926. And the 10 Million, a Buick of only 3 years later, 1929. And the 25 Million, a Chevrolet of only yesterday, 1940. Oh, it's a great day, all right. A salute to Mr. and Mrs. America, to all of us Americans, who as one people have pioneered and protected the way of life that is the USA, whose courage, confidence, and cooperative accomplishments are proudly symbolized here today by this unparalleled achievement that marks a milestone of progress, pointing the way towards still greater things for all of us, everywhere, to share.
Teamwork, teamwork, the nation's secret was teamwork. And though doubters and scoffers said this is as far as you'll get, GM answered, you ain't